Hello, my name is Doug Leisure. I wanted to create a short and high-level demonstration of the software that I wrote to help churches with their donations. I created this software for our small church in Western Pennsylvania quite a few years ago, and it worked so well for our church that I wanted to start giving it away to other churches. So beginning in 2016, I created some YouTube videos, posted those, and I started getting requests from churches for a copy of my software. Since then, I've given it away to more than 700 churches throughout the world, though primarily in the US. Some of the benefits, the primary benefits that we get by using the software is how it has helped us speed up that weekly task of counting and recording our donations, recording by person, by category. Also then, with that collection of checks and cash we have for that donation, totaling it and making sure it balances with the amounts recorded, as well as printing the information that we need for our bank deposit and the totals by category, which our treasurer uses to enter into his QuickBooks system. The other big thing it did for us was for our year-end receipts. What used to take hours, we can now accomplish in a matter of minutes. And since other churches are using it, there are multiple parameters in the software that allow churches to adjust it for their specific needs. I've continued to enhance it over the years, so some additional benefits we have now is how it creates a monthly report that we print and give to our governing board, which shows the monthly donations by category. This year I added a 5-year comparison, so annual donations over the past 5 years, showing the progress that we're making. For churches that are outside the U.S. or non-English speaking churches inside the U.S., we have the ability to define different currencies or different languages. What's required to use the software? Just simply Microsoft Excel on a PC or a Macintosh. It needs to be the full version, so it will not work on a Chromebook or an iPad. If you're interested in a copy, there's a link in the video description of a more detailed demonstration you might want to watch, but there's also my email addresses there. Just send me an email message requesting a copy. Let's take a quick look at the software. Okay, so this is the Excel file, and when I send it to you, the first thing you want to do is go into the parameters, customize it for your church, especially how many donation categories you use, and the names that you use for your donation categories. The next thing is pop over to the Donors tab, enter the list of donor numbers and names. A lot of churches use the envelope system, so you already have assigned numbers. Some churches use things like their member IDs, and maybe it could be as simple as just a list 1 to 100, and you enter your donor names there. But go ahead and customize your list of donors, save the Excel file, and then you're ready to start doing your weekly entry. Let me show you what that would look like. All right, so we do our collection, and the first envelope we get is from Natalie Stevenson, and we know that she's donor number 2. So we enter her donor number, and we see that she gave us $10 in cash. So we have a column for the cash donations, the check donations, and technically you can enter, sometimes we get both in the same envelope. We also have a category for any type of electronic fund transfer, Venmo, Cash App, online donations. So you can enter those here. Optionally, for check amounts, for the checks, you can enter a check number. For the EFTs, you can enter the type of EFT that you're using. This is an optional column; you don't have to use it. The next thing then would be to enter the categories that she's donating to. So Natalie wrote on her envelope that she wanted $5 to go to missions and $5 to building. Now, the reality of us people, us humans, is we often make mistakes. So if I accidentally mistype a number, you'll notice that Natalie is in red because these two amounts are not in balance. So this little technique of forcing us to make sure the person is in balance before you go on, it's a simple thing, but it saved us so much time. because if you wait till the end, it's like finding a needle in the haystack to figure out what went wrong. So whether it's my mistake or sometimes the donors don't get the math right on their envelopes, it forces us to balance things before we move on. And once it's in balance, the red goes away. The other thing I wanted to mention, I don't know at your church, but it seems like we are constantly having special offerings. So maybe Natalie wanted $5 to go to the special offering for Vacation Bible School. So we have the ability to do special offerings as well. Let me just drop a few more in here so we can kind of finish out the rest of the week. And I'll just kind of do that here real quickly. All right, so here's a weekly donation. That's not a lot. Maybe you have 100 or more, and that's not a problem. The software is happy to handle 5 or 100 or a couple hundred. Not a big deal, but it's just that simple for entering it. So the next part of our donation effort, our process, is to then total the cash as well as the checks and make sure that it all balances. We use a lot of volunteer help, and not everybody is good at counting cash. So we did a much more simplistic technique, which just simply says count the quantities and let Excel do the math. So we really just do that, just ask them to count up the quantity of our coins or dollar bills and let Excel do the math and validate that it balances to the cash amounts donated. Same thing on the checks, just enter the check amounts and let Excel do the math and confirm that everything is in balance between our checks, cash, and our recorded donations. The final thing is that this information is printed, and that's what we use for our bank deposit, as well as this information down below that we give to our treasurer to enter into his QuickBooks system. And just so you don't have to be an expert in Excel or actually know very much about it, I've created a custom menu to do all of the work that's required. So each one of these menu items has a lot of VBA code behind it to do the work that we want. In our case, we've completed our donations, so item number 1 is what we use to save a copy of our donations, print the information just that I mentioned here, and also record the donations to help in building our year-end receipts. If you want to print your monthly report, that's just option number 5, print the monthly reports. And the custom menu just makes it simple to do all that stuff, so you don't have to know very much about using Microsoft Excel. All right, I think that gives you a pretty good idea of how the software works. But before we end the demo, I just wanted to real quick show for those churches that don't speak English or are outside of the U.S. what it might look like. So here's a copy of a sample church in the Dominican Republic. Let me drag that over, and what you'll see is all of the information on each of the tabs is displayed then in Spanish, and on the entry tab, if you come down here, we have then the currency used in the Dominican Republic. The custom menu as well is displayed in Spanish. So I just wanted you to quick and easily see what that would look like for those non-English speaking churches or those that need a different currency. All right, again, my name is Doug Lazier. This is the software I created for our church. Now I'm sharing it with other churches. Anyone who sends me an email request, I'll be glad to send it out to you. Thank you.